Good day everybody, my name is Awesomecrunch and welcome back to a little bit more of Mesozoica. Now, this is a really cool idea that was brought to my attention by a guy called the Doctor the 11th, not directly to me, it was just on one of the Twitter replies on the Mesozoica page. Basically, they had an absolutely incredible idea of how to make lakes in Mesozoica, because as you may be asking yourself, how do you do this? Because there's no terraforming, you can't make your own water, so how else can you make a lake? Well, basically, today I'm going to show you how to make your own lake and how to make it look good, because this doesn't look great, but I've tried to kind of populate the edges to make it look a little bit more lake-like, and we've got some stegos, and we've got some paras, and they're kind of just going around doing their own thing. They're a little bit glitchy because the AI isn't the best at the moment, it needs a bit of work. So they're all just trying to get to these food blocks in the corner, but, you know, I'll take you on a quick tour of this kind of makeshift base I've made. This is one of the really cool blueprints that's kind of already put in the game. It comes with a little hatching area, so I've hatched everyone out of there and now I've shut it down because they seem to have a tendency to get stuck in there, so I've kind of shut it out. But it still looks good, so I kept it. And then we've got a helipad, which I haven't seen in the game except putting it down before, and it looks really cool. And then we have kind of like a staff hut, I'd call it. It's not the most secure, being as it's just kind of metal double doors with security cameras. I mean, dinosaurs aren't really scared of security cameras. But then we have like an outback area, we've got some rocks, some benches, and it's supposed to be glass, but it's entirely opaque, so it must just be highly tinted. But you can't see through the other side, so I thought that makes it a little bit more private for the staff. And then we also have a visitors area over here that they can get through this area. They have plenty of vision up here on the area down there, but they can also come down to ground level and have a look through these binoculars at what's going on around them. And there's a good view of that stego, because once you seem to put a dinosaur on a rock, they don't move. I put this parrot on this rock a while ago, and this stego's been here nearly the entire time because I controlled them onto it. And they just stay there, which is nice because it's a good pose. And in this area we just have benches, some chairs, and a bin. So there's tons of foliage around here because it hides the trick that you use to make one of these lakes. And in my opinion, this actually does look pretty cool. I wouldn't be able to tell that it is what it is just by looking at it. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how you can do this as well, and how you can make it look just as good, if not better. I'm not saying this is the best looking thing I've ever made, but it probably is the best thing I've ever made in Mesozoica. I think it looks really nice. And you can do this for yourself. It might take you a little bit, depending on how much detail you want to put into it, but, you know, it's worth the effort, I reckon. We've got a little stego having a rest in the water. That guy has been standing there for about a year, and they all just like it. Okay guys, so I've started off with another flat ground area. Obviously you can do this in an existing park because the size of the lake is completely customizable, so if you only have a small enclosure, you can do a really small lake. And if you just want your whole park to be revolving around the lake like I did, then you can also do that. It's really easy. So what you need to do, you need to go to build, and then you can scroll through it on here, but you can also just go to the quick bottom bit, animal care, and it's this, a water pond. And you may be thinking, well, that looks absolutely nothing like your lake. And that is because you've got to scale it, which you can do with these advanced options. So you can scale it. If you put it all the way up to 10, I wouldn't do that because that makes it look like a boat. If you keep that at 1, or you can actually make it thinner if you want to, and then put that all the way to 10, you can make an absolutely freaking massive lake. And it does also get rid of the grass, so you shouldn't really have to worry about grass being in the way. And if it is in the way, you can just place another one and undo it, and that gets rid of most of the grass. But if that is too green for you, you can always undo that and bring it up a little bit. As long as you put plenty of foliage around it, no matter what size you choose to go with, it should look absolutely fine. So what I tend to do is I put some vegetation in the center, so it's a little bit less obvious that it is actually a fountain. And the vegetation in this game does absolutely look amazing. You can make it look great just by doing that, by putting down some rocks and a tree. And then with that, you can get really tiny rocks. Well, you can also scale these to make them fit your specific requirements. So if you want it like that, you can have that. I generally try and sink them into the ground and get them so they fill up the entire white area. And then you can just sink them into the ground however you like. And then you can also sink it further into the ground to get little bumpy bits in the water that makes it look a little bit nicer. You can probably experiment, get some better looking areas than this. I found a good way of filling up space, if you don't want rocks all the way around it, is to get these ground leaves, or these ground bushes, scale them up to around 4.3 and around 4.3 again, make them a little bit taller, nothing too big. And then you can just spam these. And if you don't want any white at all, you can just keep spamming them until there's absolutely no evidence of any patio or whatever it's made of at all. So it can look really, really nice if you actually put some effort into it. But if you just want to do that as well, that still looks nice, actually. But obviously, it's completely up to you. And because you have the ability of scaling, you can make one as little or as big as you want. So if you want one like this, you can have one like this. If you want one middle-sized, you can have one middle-sized. And then if you want to go one step bigger, you can, of course, have this massive one, which looks really, really good. But for a little addition to a park, I think it makes a huge difference, especially if you decorate it nicely. And your dinosaurs will actually interact with it. They will go in it. And I'm hoping in the future, when food actually works and it's a requirement, that dinosaurs will actually come in here and you can put food on the ground maybe and attract them in. I did find that putting herbivore food down for the paras did actually attract them in, but I don't know if that was just meant. I don't know if that was meant to happen, if they're meant to be attracted to herbivore food yet, or whether that was just because they were running away from an Albertosaurus that I put down before. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you found this guide useful. If you did, please remember to hit the like button because it helps me out very, very much. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like. If you're feeling really, really generous, subscribe to MacCrunchy's Day. But until next one, I'll see you guys in the next one. Ta-ra, my friends.